And notice here, I'm not throwing any energy. I let them take me out and throw their own energy so that I could come in with the Suicune and get an energy lead. That's why I did not throw the Icy in there. I wanted to get the farm instead of letting my opponent get the farm. And by getting this farm here on the Suicune, we're able to get to this Hydro Pump, which is going to be enough to take out this Registeel here. That's big damage. And now Giratina comes in. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, so please consider subscribing to the channel if that is of interest to you. And if you're a returning subscriber like Twisty Water, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at some more Open Ultra League content, and this time we are featuring a Pokemon that I have wanted to use for a very long time. One of my favorites, and that is Suicune. So Suicune is a Pokemon with a very solid moveset to choose from, running Snarl as the fast move, going to be generating a lot of energy, and then the choice of Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, and Bubble Beam. For this video, I did decide to run Ice Beam and Hydro Pump. So Suicune isn't exactly the top of the meta, however, it does sort of fall in that mid-meta category, and I think there are two reasons why it isn't as popular as it could be. One is that it is quite expensive to build, not so much the Stardust to power it up, but the cost of the secondary move, 100,000 Stardust plus 100 candy, that is quite expensive. Two, it is quite difficult to build a team around Suicune, which I think holds it back. So I did run a bunch of teams trying to find something that worked with Suicune, and we did tank our rating quite a bit, but eventually we did find one, and we went on an 8-0 win streak as well as 9-1 overall within 2 sets. This team consists of a double water strategy with Articuno in the lead, Suicune and Shadow Swampert in the back. So double water is pretty interesting obviously in the Open Ultra League because there isn't really any grass type threats. You may run into an Abomasnow, Meganium, maybe even Virizion every now and then, but for the most part, grass types are somewhat non-existent within the Open Ultra League meta, so double water is pretty safe to run. For that reason, in case we do run into a grass type, I am leading Articuno to sort of make this team operate in an ABB style. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comments section down below. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so let's hop into the battles right here, testing out Suicune for the first time in a video. This is long overdue. One of my favorite Pokemon decided to finally build it. We got Articuno into Clefable here. This is a pretty solid matchup for Articuno, unless the opponent wants to use 2 shields. Notice I did allow the extra charm to sneak in through there. That was very poor timing on my part. We do face another Clefable later in this set, and we do make up for it, play it correctly. We are going to shield up the Meteor Mash there and throw the Icy in, at which point we will be able to farm down the Clefable. So the opponent actually swaps out into Gyarados. And I was hoping I could outpace it to the Icy in here, but they are going to get to the Aqua Tail, which we are in range of getting knocked out from. So I do decide to shield, and we go down 2 shields at this point. I throw the Icy in, and I'm going to come in with the Suicune after generating a bit more energy, get very close to that Icy in, and leave enough health on the Articuno to get one more Ice Shard in later so that we can actually get the Icy in off. A little bit of lag right there, you'll love to see it. Going to overfarm basically 200 energy here with the Suicune before throwing this Ice Beam here. The Gyarados literally was doing no damage to us, and they come in with a Giratina. So this is where Suicune really shines. It has a very solid matchup against Giratina Altered, as you could see right here. Dragon Claw coming through. That is doing nothing. Shadow Claw not doing anything at all really either. Suicune is very tanky for the Ultra League. We get the shield there from the opponent, and I believe now we are in range of a Dragon Claw, so we're going to get knocked out here. And I'm going to come in with the Swampert. The opponent is staying in, which is very good for us because obviously Dragon Claw isn't going to KO. I want to build up a lot of energy here, and I'm not going to throw until they come with Clefable. Overfarm a bit more. I was a little bit lost on where they were in energy. Wasn't sure if I could farm down, so I throw the Hydro Cannon there to be safe, knowing that I can survive a Dragon Claw here and outpace this Giratina to 2 Hydro Cannons. So I'm throwing the first one here. We'll be able to survive 1 Shadow Claw, get in that Mud Shot, which gets us to the Hydro Cannon. And coming from a Shadow Swampert, this should be enough to take out the Giratina. Yes, it is. Was clicking on the Articuno just in case it was not, but we take that game. Suicune off to a 1-0 start with this double water strat. So next matchup, we got Articuno into Giratina. Beautiful lead right here, of course. So the opponent is going to swap out into Cresselia. And this is where one of the issues with this team lies, of course. Looking at the lineup, there is no solid answer for Cresselia here. So the best answer is actually Articuno. And this particular matchup sort of operates in the same way as the double ice strategy. You're staying in with the Articuno against the Cresselia here. So I do shield up once. The opponent doesn't look like they're running Future Sight here, so this is very good for us. I'm going to throw the Icy in, and at some point in this matchup, we should be able to farm down, but they swap out to Registeel instead. And notice I didn't throw a move this time, so I'm learning a lot of times I panic throw, swap out into the Swampert immediately. We call the Focus Blast, which is huge. I'm going to go for the Hydro Cannon bait. Earthquake won't KO, but I'm expecting a shield here, but the opponent's having none of it. So at this point, I figure, maybe they won't shield anything and expect another Hydro Cannon. Earthquake will KO, whereas Hydro Cannon wouldn't, but they do shield. So a couple of things going unfortunately for us here, but we will survive this Focus Blast, and that's going to allow us to get to a move here. Opponent makes a great swap out into Cresselia, but this should be enough to take it out, and they shield. So I'm going to swap out immediately into the Articuno, knowing that I do kind of need this Swampert for the end game, and Future Sight isn't going to knock out the Articuno, although that does a lot of damage. And notice here, I'm not throwing any energy. I let them take me out and throw their own energy so that I could come in with the Suicune and get an energy lead. That's why I did not throw the Icy in there. I wanted to get the farm instead of letting my opponent get the farm. And by getting this farm here on the Suicune, we're able to get to this Hydro Pump, which is going to be enough to take out this Registeel here. That's big damage. And now Giratina comes in. We're still relatively healthy because we did not take any damage from the Registeel there. Thanks to getting that energy lead on the Cresselia, allowed us to get to the Hydro Pump. And at this point, the Suicune is going to be able to take out the Giratina altered with the Ice Beam. We survive anything from this range, and Suicune showing its worth. It is quite difficult to run this Pokemon, finding a team that works with it, and this team definitely has a lot of weaknesses. However, I did find some success with it, and I had a lot of fun with it too. And I think the most important thing in Go Battle League is to have fun first and foremost before everything else. I know hitting Legend is important for some people, and it is really nice to hit Legend, but I think having fun is the most important part. So we get a horrible lead right here in Empoleon, swap out into Suicune, and the opponent comes in with Giratina altered. So at this point, it tells me that they're probably very weak to Suicune or just don't have any particular answer for it. Or perhaps also the opponent may have thought that Giratina is a good answer for Suicune, and I believe Giratina could actually beat Suicune in the 2 shields. The thing is though, even in the 1 versus 0 shield, for Giratina, it's going to lose. As you see, we can no shield this and get to the Ice Beam, which means that the opponent's either gonna have to burn 2 shields or give up switch and a shield. So we take switch advantage there, plus a shield advantage on the power of Suicune, and now we align our Swampert onto Empoleon. I'm going to shield up a move here. They come in with Togekiss. You love to see it. Articuno. So we flipped the hard counter city into our favor now at this point. Articuno going to throw the Icy in. They let that go through, and we are going to no shield this. We survive an Ancient Power and farm down. Now I want to get an Icy Wind off against this Empoleon. Of course, they are going to commit to the farm down. That's the correct play from the opponent, but getting this Icy Wind off is pretty huge for us because it is going to lower the attack. So at this point, we're gonna have to shield at some point maybe, but I think the play here is to go for 2 Earthquakes because I believe with the Icy Wind we could just go back to back, land 1 Earthquake. If they shield it, they don't, so that's a big win right there. If they shielded, we should have been able to get to a 2nd Earthquake. So I think the win condition for the opponent there was no shielding, hoping for the Hydro Cannon. So the opponent played it out correctly, but unfortunately for them, we made the right decision going for the Earthquake right there. And here we have another Clefable into Articuno, and let's see if I prevent the charm this time. So notice what I do here. Instead of throwing right away, I throw 1 more and then throw, timing it perfectly, which denies the extra charm from sneaking in. And now at this point, we should be able to get to a 2nd one there. We don't sneak in the extra move here, but we prevented the extra charm from sneaking in, which I think is more important. And at this point, we throw the Icy Wind right here. I tried to uncharge, but the opponent actually shields, which I wasn't expecting, and they come in with Muck. So I'm going to swap out immediately into Swampert. Very solid match right here. Just going to throw the Hydro Cannon immediately. That goes no shield. And at this point, I know I could survive 1 move, but I want to shield the first one. and commit to the complete farm down here. So once I shield the first move, I know that I could survive the second one, commit to the farm down, have a bunch of energy, and for some reason the opponent actually went for an acid spray, so I wasn't entirely sure why they went for that. And they come with Clefable, which means I'm going to be able to throw back-to-back Hydro Cannons here. They shield, which means that this is going to knock them out, and they must be very, very weak to Swampert in the back. They have their own Swampert, which means I'm going to outpace it to the first Hydro Cannon here. This is doing a lot of damage, and now I swap out into Suicune. Suicune doesn't have the best matchup against Shadow Swampert. However, with this much of a health advantage, of course, we are going to be able to win by getting to this Ice Beam before they can get to a second Earthquake. Ice Beam KOs, we take that game. Really enjoying the way Suicune is looking so far in these battles. We got Kurama 6-2-5 in the next matchup, and we got Articuno into a Galvantula. So possibly the worst lead you could see with this team, because Articuno weak to it, Suicune weak to it. Only real answer is Swampert. So I decided to call the discharge here. I was calling the bait on a lot of these matchups, but I noticed that everybody was going for discharge, so I decided to shield it this time. We get the shield from the opponent, and at this point here, I'm going to call the bait, the lunge right here, and it is in fact a bait. So we're gonna get off this ICU and CMP tie right here, and I'm okay just losing this match from now on. But they actually swap out into Snorlax, and I know that my Suicune here doesn't have the greatest matchup against Snorlax, so I tried to do a bit of chip damage, but I actually gave up on going for the Ice Wing because I didn't think I would make it, and I didn't want to use my shield yet. So I'm gonna let the Snorlax throw the body slams here, and I'm gonna go straight for the Hydro Pump. It's gonna do a lot of damage, and it's really going to come down to whether or not I could outpace them to the next move. We should survive this move, which means Ice Beam is going to knock out the Snorlax, and we will take Switch. But unfortunately for us, that means that the Galvantula will come in and farm us. But the important thing here is that although we'll have to burn a shield on the Swampert, we can commit to the farm down, and because we're not switch locked in here, we could swap out and reset the debuff. So we farm down completely, we have 0 shields, they have a Snorlax with pretty much no health, they come in with that, I swap out into Articuno to get to this Icy Wind, but now I'm switch locked. So the opponent actually made a pretty smart play there, forcing me into this switch lock without really thinking about the situation too much. But Perrserker, if they commit to the farm down, is going to get hit by 2 Icy Winds right here, and that means that a close combat actually isn't going to be enough to take out Swampert. I'm able to build up to 2 Hydro Cannons, and if they didn't hit the button here, I'm going to win the CMP tie on the second one. So we're actually going to take this game without them even throwing a move. We go a perfect 5-0 in that first set, and I was very, very pleased with the performance of this team. In particular, Suicune. Alright, so hopping into the second set of battles right here, and this is Articuno lead into a Giratina. So after that rough lead with Galvantula that we managed to pull out, we see a beautiful lead here in the form of Giratina, and the opponent's choosing to stay in. So of course, if they're staying in, we're not going to shield anything. We're going to win this matchup in every single shield situation. So throwing the Icy Wind right there. Now they swap on Cresselia, and this is actually the most difficult situation for us, because now we're actually at too low of a health to win this matchup with Articuno, even if we decided to stay in. So what I do here is I throw the Icy Wind to lower the attack on the Cresselia, and then I'm just going to come in with my Suicune. And this isn't a great matchup, but as you can see, the Grass Knots aren't doing as much as they normally would, and Hydro Pump is going to hurt. And at this point, I figure it's pretty low to the point where I think I could shield once and get to the Ice Beam, at which point they'll have a decision to make. Do they want to shield or do they want to let it go? Instead, they decide to swap out to Giratina, so I'm going to land that Ice Beam. Bang! There it is, taking it out. And they're going to come back in with their Cresselia. So here, I'm okay letting the Suicune get taken out. They're going to be switch locked into this matchup with the Cresselia, so I come in with the Articuno, and I'm going to look to farm down completely right here. We'll have to eat a move, but that's totally fine. It's only a Grass Knot too, so that's absolutely perfect. And now they come to Togekiss, and you know what that means. When the Togekiss comes in, Articuno goes to work, and we'll be able to get both shields here with the Icy Wind. And although Swampert does not have a great matchup against Togekiss, because we get off 2 Icy Winds and we get the shield, it's basically at the point where these charms, look at them, they're really not doing anything. This is a Shadow Swampert, and it's taking these charms like a pro. No boost, please. There it is, no boost. Gonna throw the Hydro Cannon here, and that's going to do a lot of damage. Can we Mud Shot down? No, instead, we are going for the BM right here. This is not the play. Very bad sportsmanship Highly do not recommend doing that, but you know, sometimes you're feeling yourself, you gotta do a little shimmy like Trae Young in the playoffs, and you just gotta flex that win. So we take that game on the BM. GG's to the opponent. Definitely don't want to do that. But look at this, we get a Melmetal for that BM. So, you know, everything sort of balances itself out. We swap out into Suicune, and the opponent is staying in. So watch how much a Hydro Pump does to a Melmetal right here. Bang! There it is. That is pretty heavy damage, and that could flip this matchup. So Rock Slide comes through, and with the opponent staying in here, it tells me one of two things. Either one, they have another answer for Articuno in the back, or two, this team is extremely weak to Suicune. We'll survive this. Can we farm down before Thundershock though? Yes, we can. We take Switch, and they're probably feeling really nice about the water type getting out of the way. But there's the Swampert in the back. Now this could be a Brave Bird, so I'm obviously going to shield the first one. We get baited. Unfortunate. Throwing the Hydro Cannon here, definitely expecting a shield. And the opponent does shield. But notice here, I believe they actually didn't even build up to the Brave Bird, so I'm no shielding this because it could only be a Flame Charge. And that is perfect for us because we get to 2 Hydro Cannons right here. Are they going to shield up? Yes, they do, which means the second Hydro Cannon is coming through. You already know what's coming. Bang! There it is. One shot that Talonflame. And look at this. Registeel in the back. This team does not want to see Swampert at all, especially not a Shadow. You know we're going to shield this up, and we're going to farm it down with a Mud Shot. The opponent doesn't want the smoke. They saw the BM in the last match. They don't want none of that, and I don't blame them because that BM was totally out of line. And man, I should not be doing that to the opponents. Very bad luck, but Articuno into Swampert right here. I'm watching too much Trae Young in the playoffs. He's BMing everybody right here, leaving the BM on Giannis. Oh man. This match right here, Articuno versus Swampert, like I said, you never want to shield anything, only match shields. The opponent swaps out to Granbull. Probably going to throw an Icy Wind here if the game doesn't lag. Okay, nice, a little bit of lag, but we do get to the Icy Wind. And then I'm going to swap out into the Granbull. Look how much damage that did. That's pretty crazy. So going to take a move right here. This is actually a very under-leveled Granbull, it looks like. Close combat doing nothing to Suicune. What a beast. Going for the Ice Beam right here. This is going to knock it out. Actually going for the Undercharge, but obviously with close combat lowering the defense, it's going to get knocked out. They come with Melmetal. Can we get to the Hydro Pump? You saw it in the last battle. This thing absolutely chunks that Melmetal. There it is. That is huge damage. And we're going to let this go down right here. Come in with the Swampert and Mud Shot down. They come in with their own Swampert, which of course isn't great. So I'm going to let the move go through. That is pretty ballsy. I swap out into Articuno before even getting a shield. But this is what I saved my shields for. I want to get off one Icy Wind right here. But I realized, you know, I can't really knock it out because I don't want to give it too much farm to that Melmetal. So they do shield, which is actually best case scenario for me. So I think at this point we will let this go down, and then I'll come in with the Swampert, overfarm a little bit before they get to their Hydro Cannon, throw right here, and I think we are in a position now where I should be able to get to 2 Hydro Cannons before the opponent gets to 2 moves. So I'm going to throw here. If they didn't click on their move yet, it shouldn't be CMP tie. Right now I'm spamming the Hydro Cannons to ensure that we get CMP tie right here. So Superpower comes through. There's the CMP tie. We're going to take this game. Swampert put in the work, and I believe that was the 8th win in a row with this team. So I was pretty excited at this point, feeling like Paul George going to the free throw line with a couple of seconds left. But are we going to choke and lose the game, lose the streak? Decent lead here. It's kind of bad, but with Ancient Power, not too bad. What I like to do here is throw the Ancient Power and then swap out since they get to the Blast Burn after. But the opponent is reading my mind, and they swap out to Cresselia to catch that Ancient Power. Beautiful catch by the opponent right there. Cresselia now, of course, this is a decent matchup for Articuno, but it's not too great for us. So I have 2 solid answers for the Charizard in the back, obviously. I'm not too worried about that, but they did leave with energy. Gonna take a move right here. They're running Future Sight, which kind of makes this a little bit more difficult, especially because the first move was an Ancient Power, which was very unfortunate, but well played to the opponent there. And Future Sight will actually KO here, so I decided to let this go through. And of course, they did shield once, and we should win the one shield, but because we threw the Ancient Power, we don't. I was hoping I could farm down here, but this shouldn't really do too much damage because it is debuffed to Moonblast. We take that, farm up a lot of energy right here, and they come in with the Grass-type Meganium. So there is the destroyer of the team, and I don't have a good answer in the back. The only way I can win this is by shielding here and somehow outpacing 2 Ice Beams. So I'm going to get off this one, CMP. Can I get to the next one though before the Meganium? This is the game right here. We get to it, but it's CMP. The Meganium points out. Well, maybe it wasn't CMP. Probably was. I don't know if Meganium has a higher attack actually, but either way, Meganium got there before us. I need this to KO. It's not enough. If that knocked out the Meganium, there was still a chance to win this game, but Meganium taking us out. GG's to the opponent. Very well played. And of course, the grass type, you're not going to see it often, but when you do, it's going to put in the work. 8-1. Can we bounce back in this game? Very difficult lead right here. One of the worst you could see. Swap out into Suicune, and there it is. Drawing out the Giratina. So a lot of people, they come in with Giratina thinking, you know, Giratina is very bulky. They see a water type and they assume this is a pretty good matchup, but we are running Ice Beam. And they shield it up. They're going for Shadow Sneak here. Definitely want to be going for Dragon Claw in this particular matchup, doing the same amount of damage for a bit less energy, 10 less energy actually. So Dragon Claw is the way to go here. We go for the Ice Beam, and once again, I say they should be going for Dragon Claw, but it's possible that they're running maybe Shadow Sneak, Ancient Power as well. So no, there's a Dragon Claw, so never mind. But I'm going for the Ice Beam right here. This will be enough to take out the Giratina. And notice once again, we take a shield plus switch advantage. And now we're going to go off an Ice Beam here. I couldn't get to the Hydro Pump. Just want to get a little bit of chip damage. But now we have Swampert aligned onto Lapras, which isn't great, especially when the Lapras has energy. But we have a shield advantage. So going to come in here. Going to let the first move go through here, hoping it's a Surf, which it is. And going to build up. They're going to throw another move. So at this point, I'm going to use my first shield. Now we're going to be even on shield. So I'm okay using this shield right here. They swap around to Togekiss. Here comes the Articuno. And at this point, we have a potential to win this game. So I'm going to throw the Icy Wind right here. Now they're going to let this go through for sure. And I decide to actually, well, I have to no shield here. This is perfect because we want as little health as possible on the Articuno. I'm not sure if they undercharged there to get more farm in the Lapras. If they did, that was very well played. And at this point, you want to go for Icy Wind instead of Ancient Power because the debuff is so much more important than the chip damage because it's pretty much in one Earthquake range. But the problem is our Swampert is quite low and you don't want to take a move here. So I'm going for the bait here. We need to get the shield right here. We get the shield. We should be able to survive one Surf, but we have a shield, so I'm going to use the first shield right here. I believe we could survive a Surf, but can we get to the Earthquake before we get knocked out? There it is. Earthquake coming through. Is that enough to take on the Lapras? Bang! There it is, coming back from the difficult lead. We go 9-1. With the Suicune. Super hyped about that. Happy to get this video out. Suicune OP. So those were the battles featuring Suicune in the Open Ultra League. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. Double water strategy, as you saw, there really isn't any grass types in the Open Ultra League meta. We ran into that one Meganium, still almost won that matchup, but it was very difficult, of course. Overall, I do really like Suicune, and I think it has a lot of play in the Open Ultra League. Definitely worth the investment if you want to go and build one. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.